Bye.
I will not fight this fucking guy. He's a fucking monster,
but I respect it though because
I'm just gonna fucking die, bro.
I can't. This is the first time. Oh, hold on. This is the first time I ever heard you say any of this.
I know.
Jake Paul seems to be under pressure as Anthony Joshua shows off his intense training regime ahead of his upcoming fight. The YouTuber boxer appears uneasy watching AJ's sheer strength and focused preparation. Talks of a potential clash between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua are gaining serious momentum, with fans and pundits buzzing about what could be a massive showdown.
Manager here last week, and he's open to the fight. Any developments on that?
Lots. I mean, you know, this bizarre world that we live in, I think Jake Paul is absolutely the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua next. I'm here in New York for meetings about that fight. There's an open dialogue between myself and Nikisa, an MVP. I don't know what to tell you, Bridgie, other than it's mental. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you this is a 50-50 matchup. The whole thing is bizarre. I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua.
Promoter Eddie Hearn has described Jake Paul as a serious contender, revealing that both camps are already in deep talks. The potential fight is being targeted for early 2026, and negotiations are picking up steam. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua continues to prove why he's one of the sport's elite. His training is no joke, packed with high-intensity strength and conditioning, tough sparring rounds with top-level fighters, and a strong focus on both physical and mental discipline.
Where's AJ for you right now?
I think he's an icon.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever met AJ, I would be starstruck. I remember being in New York City, my cousin's stag do, which would have been 2017, and he beat Klitschko.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, the bar erupted. It was amazing, right? That was peak
AJ.
History will be kind to AJ, I think, in terms of where he ranks.
History will be kind if he doesn't lose a couple more big ones. Because I know everyone just got microwave memories where they just remember now.
Like, he's nowhere near to say Lennox Lewis, is he?
No.
But in terms of what he carried, nobody can sell an arena.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's
like, he's up there with like stars of other, like, sports. He can be compared to Oasis for selling tickets.
Yeah, he'll fill a stadium.
Yeah, like
there was a time when I thought he could fight me and fill a stadium.
This
like,
is what I was just about to say, that irrespective of the opposition.
Doesn't matter.
Like, irrespective. And he will never, nobody, I don't know, Daniel Dubois will never ever have that presence.
No. Anthony Joshua has never shied away from challenging the best in the sport. One clear example was his face-off against Alexander Usyk, a former unified cruiserweight champion who made waves in the heavyweight division. Their first bout, which took place in September 2021 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, ended with Usyk claiming a decisive win on points, using his superior skills and ring IQ to outclass Joshua.
Finally out of my possession, which I was expecting to win, it just kind of tore me apart. And that's raw emotion live on your screen. Obviously, looking back, could I have dealt with things better? Yeah, of course. But at the time, that wasn't the priority. It was just outpour of emotion.
There are so many athletes we're seeing across gymnastics, cricket, rugby and football that have taken time out of their sport to deal with their mental health before coming back in. Did you at any point in that period think, I need to take an extended break away from boxing before coming back in?
It wasn't the fact I needed to take a break. You know what it was? I actually watched a lot of like fighters, they've taken time out of the game for those reasons as well. And I think, okay, if they've done it, I should be doing it. But I got to look at myself as an individual. And what it is, I feel like if I take time out, I'm letting everyone catch up. And I want to be ahead.
Jake Paul has shown impressive physical conditioning and a strong dedication to his training. However, his in-ring experience is limited compared to seasoned fighters like Joshua. Despite putting in hard work, Paul's training has mainly centered around building fitness and mastering the fundamentals, rather than fighting at an elite level.
We also like punch each other and like elbow, like he was on the ground, I was like kneeing him in the face. Like,
so you get fighting your sibling to a whole nother level.
Training wrestling is so hard.
Yeah.
Dana has always been close to my family because of my dad. And then he's like texting Daniel Cormier and like, hey, like Bellemere needs to go to college. Where should you go? I was literally cage side sitting next to Nana. The arena, like I literally like get goosebumps sometimes, like thinking of it. I've never heard an arena so loud. Like my last fight, I broke the girl's arm in the first round, like minute something. Complete snap, like ripped every ligament in her elbow.
I want professional boxers. It's only been 3.5 years. You can only make a certain amount of fights happen. And the plan was always to fight Nate Diaz after Tommy Fury, win, lose, or draw. People think there's like this ducking of professional boxers. The next fight could potentially be a professional boxer. I'm just getting started. I'm 26 years old, and there's only so much.
Many in the boxing world have voiced concerns over a potential fight between Joshua and Paul, calling it a mismatch that could be dangerous. Notable voices like Eddie Hearn have stressed the wide gap in both experience and skill. He pointed out that Joshua's devastating punching power and deep professional resume would make such a matchup extremely risky for Paul.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua 50-50 fight, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But, as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Let's talk about AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on.
Talk of a Joshua versus Paul showdown has drawn backlash from boxing experts, many of whom see it as reckless and ill-advised. Critics argue that the disparity in talent and experience is too great, and while the fight could be a financial blockbuster, the risks to Paul's health and the sport's reputation are significant. To some, the event feels more like a publicity stunt than a serious contest.
You're from a traditional side of boxing. The talks of maybe an Anthony Joshua Jake Paul matchup. What do you make of that?
Joke. It's just money, innit? It's just for money. Because he'll get absolutely pulverised by Big Joshua. Yeah. Pulverised.
Tony Bellew, known for his blunt opinions, didn't hold back when asked about the potential Joshua-Paul fight. He called the idea dangerously absurd and highlighted the massive differences in size, skill, and experience. Bellew suggested that if Joshua wants a real challenge, someone like Canelo Alvarez would be a far better and safer option.
The level. This is a really dangerous. He ain't fighting a granddad. He isn't fighting a grandfather. It's absolute lunacy. It's insane. It's dangerously insane. Is right. And I never thought I'd say that in my lifetime, but because he says some crazy shit. But he probably could knock him out with his bell end.
It's just a gross mismatch.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand his health is in jeopardy. So I'm not even entertaining it. I just think it's dangerous. And listen, I might have to work it, but it's just...
It's kind of ludicrous, isn't it, really?
It's insane. This boy is nuts. Is nuts, and I think he's putting his life before he's putting his life before money.
Yeah, it's
putting money before his life, which is...
Bellew has repeatedly criticized Jake Paul for treating boxing more like a showbiz event than a serious sport. He warned that this approach could end badly if Paul continues to overlook the dangers of the ring. Bellew also shared concerns that the rise of influencer boxing could tarnish the sport's credibility, especially if things take a wrong turn.
It's not putting on no one because it would end immediately right there and then. The other claim to fame is slapping the shit out of your trainer. But I'm not going to be disrespected by anyone, especially a young child. I don't want no problems, but if you've got a problem, then no problem.
Joe Rogan has often praised Anthony Joshua's incredible athleticism. On his podcast, he's likened Joshua's physique to that of a superhero, citing his strength, discipline, and physical build as key factors in his success. Rogan's admiration highlights Joshua's intense commitment to staying in peak condition.
Like Anthony Joshua, who's the heavyweight champion of the world now.
Is
you
he?
Look at him. Yeah, he's a English fellow. He's a tank. I mean,
Is he?
Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua. He looks like a superhero.
Do those guys have as much stamina as these guys do, though?
Oh yeah, they do today. They did? Yeah, because the conditioning methods that they have today are just so superior. They understand rest and recovery, and they monitor your heart rate, and they're
Frank Smith, the CEO of Matchroom Boxing, stirred debate when he suggested that a Joshua versus Jake Paul fight might even generate more worldwide interest than Joshua versus Tyson Fury. He admitted that the idea is unconventional, but said that its commercial potential is huge. According to Smith, serious talks are underway, with a 2026 event possibly in the works.
Random, Frank, doesn't it? With everything else that's going on in the fight game, I know that he's had some. He's been upping his game, getting some better opponents, and he's got a world ranking and all that. But I don't know. It's. I mean, I think there's other fights out there for AJ, aren't there? Really, with that feel a better fit than Jake Paul at this moment in time.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree with you. It is random, but at the same time, it's the biggest fight out there. It's bigger. The reality is Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul on a global scale is bigger than Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. And that's the world we live in right now.
This revelation has sparked mixed reactions across the boxing community. Some question the legitimacy of such a fight, while others are intrigued by the massive attention it could bring. The debate continues as fans and insiders alike weigh the risks against the potential spectacle.
Gets my goat. What is bigger, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, or Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? And for me, it's absolutely clear what's bigger. It's Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, I think, you might throw to some Frank Smith comments in a minute, but Matchroom's Frank Smith, but that fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua. Really, in my view, it's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area level fighter, a British area level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the...
UFC interim heavyweight champ Tom Aspinall recently spoke openly about the appeal of a potential fight with Jake Paul. According to Aspinall, the main draw isn't the competition, it's the massive payday. He admitted that for many fighters, the financial rewards tied to facing Paul are hard to ignore.
Who's the greatest of all time in boxing?
Boxing?
Heavyweight.
Me.
I agree. I mean, do you get upset when they start throwing other names?
Listen, all right, I'm not being egotistical, okay? They said they know. If you put up some statistics or something, ask the world. Not one guy, 10 guys, ask the world.
Watching Netflix on Friday night, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson?
Yes, I was.
But what did I make of it? I think commercially and a business sense, thought it was absolutely fantastic. Both men made a ton of money. So best of luck to them. Congratulations. As far as the boxing fight, it wasn't a fight. It was a tip and tap. Don't hit me, I won't hit you. Circle the ring a little bit. Make it look good. That's all it was. So I don't really...
Jake Paul's habit of calling out high-profile legends has rubbed many fans the wrong way. Critics argue he's more focused on creating buzz than proving his worth in the ring. At one point, Paul expressed interest in fighting Gervonta Tank Davis, a fighter from a much lighter division. Davis competes as a lightweight, while Paul fights at a much higher weight class. A matchup would require Paul to drop significant weight, which could complicate any future plans to bulk back up for a potential clash with someone like Anthony Joshua.
So a Tank Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition match was going to take place after the Lamont Roach fight, until Tank drew with Roach, leading to a rematch. Now, I'm going to say the unpopular opinion here, but the size difference would have been way too much. I mean, even if Tank brought Jake down to 190 or 200 pounds, he would have still been way too big. I mean, no matter how good a lightweight is, they would have almost no chance against a cruiserweight or heavyweight ranked top 200 in his division. And I'm sure people are going to bring up Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, but Logan is just not a good boxer relative to Jake. You know, Jake's been training for a couple years, he's had over 10 pro fights, and Mayweather was also junior middleweight in this fight, not a lightweight like Tank. But that being said, I'm glad Tank and Jake isn't happening. You know, it would have been a fun spectacle, but I'm not the biggest fan of the exhibition stuff. And instead now Tank and Roach will be rematching in June. You know, the first fight did a little over 260,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't bad in this market. Roach absolutely deserves a second fight, so I do think the rematch will do far more numbers. And as for Jake, I want to see him fight big-name boxers around his weight class. You know, the Tommy Fury rematch, for example, he's undefeated. The first fight did a little over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He's around the same age range, so that's the fight I want to see, not the
Former champion Carl Froch hasn't held back his opinion on Jake Paul. Froch believes Paul lacks real boxing ability and claimed his performance against Tommy Fury proved it. He dismissed Paul's efforts as amateurish, saying the fight looked one-sided and that Paul isn't anywhere near the level of a serious contender.
I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like you put him in with someone his own size. It was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him. He's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like
MMA veteran Rampage Jackson has also voiced criticism, particularly regarding Paul's choice of opponents. Jackson argued that Paul tends to pick fighters who are well past their prime or no longer in peak condition. According to him and many fans, these matchups are more about stacking the odds in Paul's favor than creating fair competition. Wink with a frown.
Expected in professional boxing.
Jake Paul. No, but I'm never going to call out Jake Paul again because I saw Butterbean call him out and that looked pathetic. So I'm never going to call out Jake Paul. But I've called out Jake Paul and stuff like that. Everybody calling out Jake Paul. And Jake Paul. I'm not calling out Jake Paul. He won't fight me for another 10 years until I'm too old to get in there. I'm not. Everybody know that's a money fight and stuff like that. But fuck, I don't give a fuck about him.
Just overall, your thoughts on his opponent selection these last few fights?
He's smart. Yeah.
Anthony Joshua reacted to Jake Paul's challenge with amusement, suggesting that Paul's tactics are more about chasing headlines than chasing belts. He joked that Paul is using well-known names like his to stay relevant and cash in on the hype. While influencer boxing has gained a large following and impressive pay-per-view numbers, many in the professional scene feel the focus should return to real competition and legitimate matchups.
Competition.
We were involved in the sort of earlier days of that influencer world. We did the second Logan Paul KSI fight in LA. Numbers were huge. We did Jake Paul's professional debut in Miami in 2019 around the Super Bowl. And then I think we made a decision to move away from it because I think the focus of our business was we got to just keep focused on professional boxing. Maybe in 10 years.
So what do you think? Is Jake Paul reaching beyond his limits, or is he cleverly playing the game? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.